What made you lose respect for someone? I can think of two instances I've just instantly lost respect. One, my friend was having money trouble, so I gave him a job to help me get around town, usually the store 2 times a month for $300, as well as doctor's appointments when they pop up, though this was rare, and take my husband to work now and then. This costed maybe $100 in gas and left him $200 to play with and use, but it really helped me as I can't drive and he needed the money to pay a lawyer. He decided once to take me on base when I wanted to go to a different store, but I gave up when I figured it could do the same thing I wanted on base anyways. Instead, we got pulled over for a random search at the gate, and I found out the hard way he lied and didn't have a driver's license to be doing the job I gave him. His dad was pissed and even grabbed money out of my purse that he knew I was saving to get away from my husband, who fiendishly abused me to pay his kid's ticket, saying it was my fault. And my friend just sat and agreed it was all my fault, and then when I went home to my now ex-husband and told him I was uncomfy being around my friend, I was told to suck it up cause he helps him get to work now and then and we can't afford to lose that. Just suck. Instant loss of respect for both of them, though to be fair my husband then had been on the decline for a while. 2. This was actually only 3 months ago. Me and 2 of my good work friends decided to have a girls' night out and hang out for the first time, and they promised to help pay some of my part in exchange for me giving them my artwork and designs in the past for multiple tattoos and a business logo to cover the cost of my work, so to speak. The night was awful from start to finish. They abused the poor waitress we got and left no tip for their parts, and I didn't have enough to cover decently well, though I tried. When we went out to the pool in my apartment, they flirted with a married man with his family and got into a fight with my neighbors that nearly got physical multiple times while I tried to get us to leave. They then came to my home and raided my fridge and art supplies while I slept, when they know I struggle to afford food even for myself. I avoid talking to them when I can now, to say the least, though I'm not sure they have figured out the real reason I haven't hung out since. Just yikes out. I texted an ex of mine to apologize for the shitty way I broke up with him, 16 at time of breakup, 18 when texted him, now 20. It was a silly sophomore relationship, but I broke up over text at a concert, p.h.d., so I felt bad about it. He and his girlfriend proceeded to text me for several weeks, escalating to the point of harassment and threats because they wanted to have a threesome with me because I'm bisexual. It really messed with me at the time. I was best friends with this dude for about 3 years. We drifted cause he got a girlfriend that didn't like me, and he stayed in contact with my real shitty ex. We stopped talking, but I never had any hard feelings. Shit happens. Pretty much in the same week I found out that he 1. Lied to the police about the ex trying to kill me when he was there and was the one to pull X off me and possibly saved my life, and 2. Either only knew about it while we were still talking daily, or helped X steal my keys. Fuck that guy. Even after decades-long friendships, I ended relationships with and lost respect for anyone if I found out they voted for Trump. This was a sign that they either were too uninformed, racist, gullible, or too stupid to ever have an intelligent conversation with, again, ever. This included employees, business relationships and family members. And after doing this, over a 5-year period of time, my life was much, much better off. It turned out that outside of politics, these very same people had acted as cancers in so many other areas of my life. Lost major respect for someone when I watched the decisions they made. It became clear I can't grow with them because they can't assign values to situations and make informed decisions. Literally like a trust fund kid now grown and unable to function. My grandmother is someone that I always had a great respect for. She was someone that I loved to spend the night with. Over the years, me and my extended family have grown far apart, with both my older brothers falling into addiction and me being the only one that never did. This woman would constantly talk about how much she loves her grandkids, but would only spend time with my younger cousin. She's 2 years younger than me. Something important that had developed was my allergies to bananas and pineapples, which make me very sick for the entire day. My grandma spent so much time away from me, that she believed the allergies to be a joke. 3 years in a row, I have suffered because she would cook the meals in pineapple juice believing that it wouldn't have the same effect. Not only that, but when my oldest brother lost his battle to addiction 2 years ago, she never said anything to me. I was the only one that wasn't talked to during the very difficult family situation. I don't think I can look at her the same way that I used to. I'm literally working with a girl who strung along a friend and myself thinking that we'd never talk to each other about it. She warped our perspectives on one another to break us apart and then played both sides. Literally just got done talking about it with my dude and holy fuck was that relieving to see his perspective. Literally had both of us at our ends wit. Their overinflated ego. Long bouts of academic, professional and romantic failures. I have no respect for myself. Note, I respect every adult, no matter how I know them, but my stepdad lost my respect a long time ago, cause he was a total asshole of a human being and he told us several times, me and my brother, that we're going to be poor and that we're achieving nothing. Now, 4 months ago, he committed suicide and I have to say that I'm relieved that this bullshit is finally over. One of my best friends is about to be 36 years old and still lives with his parents. The worst part? It's not a caretaker type of situation. He even has a job that pays quite well for what he does, absolutely enough to live on your own. He hasn't had a significant other in years because of his extremely high standards. And to top it all off, he won't get a COVID vaccine because he doesn't trust it. I love the guy, but the older he gets, the more he seems to be losing touch with reality. It's becoming harder and harder to relate to somebody when they haven't had so many simple adult experiences, like paying bills or having a creditor card. Used autistic as an insult. They didn't like jam, Nutella, cheese and some other stuff. When I knew the owner of my company molested a female worker, who is the daughter of a retired army officer, caused our company's certificate to be revoked, we work for the military, government contract cancelled, no money at all because he was too busy buying properties for himself using the company's money. I had not been paid since March and he, the dumbass, still proceeded to push us for monthly target achievement even though he knows, to do business you must have at least some sort of fund/capital to invest. He knows we got stuck with business opportunities with other people. My country military aviation industry is quite small, because of his scandal. He still has the guts to lie, be ignorant and act like a victim. Why am I still here? At the moment, the company's debt to me accumulates and out of spite, I want to stay as long as I can until 1, I got a new job 2, the company finally buckled and will be forced to pay compensation. Plus, newly enforced lockdown in my country made it worse for job hunting. I hate him and definitely made me lose all respect for him. Hearing a few of my upper crust classmates evangelizing gang members. That was the moment I understood that intelligence and wealth don't correlate at all. She dated a convicted sex offender. Really lost respect for her behind that. Found out they're religious. Found out they're transphobic, even though they're non-binary. Found out they were predators. The list goes on. When the person who claimed to love me most in the world betrayed me after 15 years of marriage, 6 years ago. We're still together, we got counseling, healed our marriage, fixed our family and we adore each other in a completely new way. We know we're blessed to have beaten the odds of surviving infidelity. However, I do not respect him as a person any longer. Odd, because I can love him and even trust him now. I simply can't find it in me to respect him the way I once did. I feel he's inferior to me now. He knows this. It's bad to feel that way, but I sacrificed a lot to keep this family together. I handled a whole lot of humiliation, embarrassment and mockery. So if I'm a little holier than thou in return, so be it. I know. I'm shitty. But let's be clear, if he respected me, he wouldn't have been unfaithful. I'm going to call this one a draw. When she slandered me. My cousin. I used to respect him because I thought he was relatively unbiased and intelligent. He didn't get visibly angry during arguments blah 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 whatever. Now I realize that even though I think he's smart or whatever, he only really is good at math and some science, like chemistry or whatever, but he has no concept of biology or psychology or just basic human decency. He thinks trans people don't exist and that people with sensory disorders, like myself, can just get over our problems with whatever sense and stay quiet about it, and that I should be thinking about other people. But when I try to explain that I do, and that's what makes it so stressful that I don't want to do it specifically because it bothers other people, he calls bullshit and says I should just stop then. He also watches Steven Crowder and is homophobic and transphobic. He calls his sibling his sister even though they are actually non-binary, and seems to love making jokes towards trans people. Then he's also homophobic, which is just wonderful since I'm a lesbian and he's the first person in my family I ended up telling. He often says that since gay people can have biological children, after I told him that it was controlled by genetics, that the human race would die out and that we'd lose the function to reproduce normally somehow. And myself actually being very interested in biology and specifically genetics, tried to explain to him how that would be basically impossible and that he's not counting by people and all this shit, but he still just doesn't get it, and I just can't have a normal conversation with him anymore because he's so stuck up about how he's the only happy person in our family. So yeah.